Happy trade deadline day. Let's talk about the Leafs. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you all know, I'm Victoria. I talk all things Toronto sports from Scotland, and today I'm just talking about the trade deadline, which the deadline was up an hour ago, and I just wanted to listen to Brad Treliving's sort of press thing before I started filming. So here we are. It's like after 9 o'clock on a Friday night, and I'm sitting here talking about hockey. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But I, of course, because it is after 9 o'clock, I have my pyjamas on, and specifically I have my Leafs pyjamas on. Oh yeah. I also have a tiny little bottle of wine, which, yeah, I know you're meant to put them in a glass, but it's much more fun if you just put a straw in it, I suppose. So, cheers. I'm really sorry if you've only like found me through my last video, which I'll pop above my head right now, which was about what I wanted the Leafs to do at the trade deadline. You're going to be like, wow, does she always drink in every video? And no, I don't normally, but 2 weeks in a row we're filming at night. This is also, I'm sorry, this is not going to be the nicely edited, really well structured and thought out video that I normally try and do, because I am so tired. It's been a long week, and I really want to get this up tonight, so I'm going to try and do like minimal editing, and I don't have like a proper set of notes. I just literally was taking some notes down as the deadline was going on, so it's just really more like my thoughts. Anyway, settle in, enjoy. Here are my thoughts about the Leafs at the trade deadline in 2024. And I'm going to start with the last trade that they made, and also the only one which actually took place today on trade deadline day, which is Connor Dewar from the Minnesota Wild to the Toronto Maple Leafs. This happened right at the end of the deadline, and so this was done really right at the last minute, which is what I thought was going to happen. I was just sitting there, and I've been watching as much of like the trade stuff as I can. I was switching between Sportsnet and TSN. I was working from home mainly today, apart from I had to go take some photos at one point, but I was working from home for most of the day, and I had TSN/Sportsnet. I just switched between the two on the background, and as time went on I was like, they're either not going to do anything or they're going to do something like right at the last minute, and it was the latter. So the Leafs got Connor Dewar from the Minnesota Wild. Dewar's in his final year of a 2-year $1.6 million deal with an $800,000 cap hit, and he's set to become an RFA on July 1st. In return, the Wild got a 2026 4th round pick, and the 24-year-old has got 10 goals and 14 points in 57 games this season, and he's been a really decent face-off player for the Wild. He's also 5th in the team for hits this year with 94, which Brad Treliving really likes a big physical addition to the team, doesn't he? He has really great skills defensively, and most of all, he could be a really great benefit to the Leafs PK, which they need some help on the penalty kill. That's definitely an area that needed improved on, and Dewar could be the guy to do that. So I'm intrigued by it. I like it. I didn't see them adding a centre. I didn't see that coming. But yeah, like I'm fine with it. I feel like, you know, they didn't like give up too much for that. I feel like they've protected like the minimal picks and the decent prospects that they have, so that's good. I don't mind it at all. But anyway, let's talk about the other trades first. Connor Dewar, I'm fine with. I think it's a good asset to the team, and it definitely fills in a gap, I think, in my opinion. And Brad Treliving said that he was a defensively responsible centre, and that he was drawn to the PK benefits and the depth in the middle, and he thinks that Dewar is defensively sound and competitive, which it sounds like a good deal, you know? They didn't give up too much for it, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do, because I quite like that addition. Obviously the Leafs didn't do too much, but you know, I'm quite happy with Connor Dewar. I sort of just reserved myself to the fact that clearly the Leafs weren't going to do anything today, but they did. So there we have it, Connor Dewar. He's a Leaf now, so yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do. So that was all the Leafs did today, but obviously before that there was the addition of Joel Edmondson, and so in exchange the Washington Capitals got a 2024 third round pick and a 2025 fifth round pick, but the Capitals also retained 50% of his salary, and he's in his final year of a 4-year $40 million deal with a cap hit of $3.5 million per year. This season he has got a goal and 6 points. He is a 6'5", big physical defenseman. I really liked his quote last night. He wasn't there like in time for the Leafs Bruins game, because I did read somewhere that there was the chance that last night he might have had to dress for the game, but he was up in the press box watching the game, and I loved the quote from him that said, "Sitting up there was tough. I just wanted to get out there. All the scrums and fights, that excites me. That's playoff hockey, and I think I play my best hockey during playoffs." Now, we all know that the Leafs struggle in the playoffs in a way that they never do during the regular season. The regular season is not the Leafs' issue, it's the postseason that's the problem. And so someone that potentially does play their best hockey in the postseason is exactly what the Leafs needed. They have regular season great guys that play consistently. It's definitely their playoff performance that is struggling, and unfortunately that's really where it matters, I suppose. So I think that could be an exciting physical addition. I really like seeing the team getting a little bit more physical. I feel like they're finally standing up for each other. It's really good to see some like messages being sent, some response to stuff, where previously they just kind of let things slide a little bit too much for my liking. I love seeing the better physicality. The Leafs were known as a soft team for so long that it's really nice to see that sort of being flipped on its head. And again, only giving up picks and being able to have half of his salary retained means Leafs didn't give up too much. I talked about this in my last video, but the Leafs are severely lacking in picks over the next few years. Like, they are seriously lacking in them. And then obviously in terms of prospects, they have the likes of Fraser Minton, Easton Cowan, which I didn't want to see them giving up. There was no deal that was viable that I would have been happy with those two prospects going, or either one of those prospects going, because the future that they're securing for the Leafs is just so beneficial that while obviously I want them to win a cup now, and the likes of Matthews and stuff is in their prime now, I do think you need to like secure your future a little, and so you can't give up all your picks and prospects just to try and win a cup now, because ultimately if you then don't win a cup, you don't have the cup and you have a struggling future, which is not a scenario that you want them to be in. And then of course the other addition that the Leafs made was Ilya Lyubushkin, which I already covered this in last week's video, so I won't talk about it too much again, but basically I really thought he was, I welcome Ilya Lyubushkin back to Toronto personally. I think it was nice to see an addition that got someone new in, got depth, but that wasn't going to interrupt the chemistry the team already have. And because Lyubushkin played for the Leafs before, obviously there wasn't going to be that disruption, which I saw as a good thing. I think sometimes major disruption can just mess up the chemistry of a team. And because it's so near the postseason, I feel like there isn't that much time for them to settle into this sort of new routine with tons of changes. So I think maybe this is a good thing. And yeah, I like Lyubushkin. I was glad to see him back. I really wanted the Leafs to add a couple of defensemen, and they've done exactly that. And Brad Treliving clearly has a type when it comes to deals he's going for, where he likes the big physical players, and I think that's great. He clearly has a vision for this team, and that's clearly something that he maybe thought that was missing before and that he's trying to add in. So he clearly, you know, he has a focus, he has a concentration, and he's definitely stuck to that theme all the way through. And I think that this theme of adding defensive depth and adding size and physicality definitely runs through all the decisions made this trade deadline day for the Leafs. And so I'm quite content with them. Also important to add in is that and to finish off the Canes trade that the Leafs were involved in, the Leafs got Cade Weber in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick. Weber currently plays at Boston University. He is another big guy. He's 6'7", he's 210 pounds. He blocks a load of shots. like so many shots. Trey Living said that he's a long defender, a big body who moves the puck well, and again he really helps in areas such as defending and on the penalty kill. So you can see this is where Trey Living was seeing the gap, and I completely agree that this is where the gap was on the team. There was no gap when it came to sort of the forward group or in terms of offense. It was definitely defensively that the issues lay, and I think that Trey Living's really addressed this, all while getting a bargain out of it at the same time, because the Leafs haven't had to give up very much, and he said he was going to get creative with the way that the trade deadline was this year, and I definitely think that he's done that because he's got players for cheap. And I know there's a lot of people that are feeling very like disappointed by the trade deadline, but I think maybe not going all out might actually be a good thing for the Leafs this year. Sorry, I was running out of storage there because I've been talking too much. I just think the Leafs have gone all out in like last year's trade deadline. Like, they really went all out last year, and it didn't get them very far. I know they did get out the first round, and it was definitely fun last trade deadline to see all the things they were doing, but ultimately it didn't win them a cup, did it? So maybe making more minor changes is a better way to go. The cupboards were quite bare in Leafsland, like there wasn't much to give up in the first place, so it was always going to be limited what they could do. I also didn't feel like there were any really significant trades that they could have made without giving up like everything. And I understand it's tough, especially when you see the likes of like Boston, Vegas, teams like that who are really going like all in with stuff, and they're constantly making moves, constantly doing things, and it seems like they're being more proactive about their attempts. But sometimes sitting on your hands and trying to work with what you have, especially when what you have already involves like some of the best players in the league, isn't necessarily a bad thing to do. I think ultimately the Leafs' postseason success is going to come down to whether Matthews, Marner, Nylander and stuff perform, and there's no trade, there's no deal that can change that. Only the players that have already been on the team for years can change that. The fact that their performance goes down so much in the postseason, I mean, I'm the biggest Austin Matthews fan. I have a 34 tattoo on my ankle. I am the biggest Austin Matthews fan, but it is glaringly obvious that he does not perform in the postseason as well as the regular season, and until that changes, they're going to just be in the same situation over and over again. So it's really down to the guys that they've got to be scoring goals, to be doing things in the postseason, and that's what's going to take them far. I don't think that there was anything they could have really added that was going to take them that extra mile. The players they already have can do that as long as they step up. The Leafs have a great solid team. I mean, it just is such a good forward group, and they've clearly tried to tweak the defensive gaps where they can with this trade deadline, so I really can't complain about it too much. I just think it comes down to whether the existing players are going to perform in the postseason or not, and that's really where the Leafs' success lies. I know people feel disappointed by this trade deadline, and I get that, but this is the team that we have now as Leafs fans. This is what we have, and so you kind of have to see the best in it and support it, even if it's not quite what you had in mind. And I'm a very positive person generally, even when the Leafs break my heart every year, so I'm excited to see what they can do with this team. I'm wondering if this different approach compared to what Kyle Dubas was doing might stand them in good stead, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm quite like, I didn't have grand ideas for what the Leafs were going to do at the trade deadline. I didn't think they were going to do anything massive, to be honest, so my expectations for trades today and like this week were quite low, to be honest. I wasn't really expecting much. The only thing that didn't happen I was expecting, I really thought Nick Robertson was going to go, and he's not, so I'm kind of surprised at that. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it didn't. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the Leafs at the trade deadline this year? How do you feel about them going into the postseason? Do you wish they did more? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. And I'm going to go quickly try and edit this, like rapid, like the quickest I've ever edited in my entire life. And I'm going to try and get this up within the next like couple of hours, and then maybe I'll get to sleep because I've been working a lot lately and I am tired. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. There's lots of new subscribers over here, and so hello, welcome. Thank you so much for listening to a Scottish girl ramble about Toronto sports. It means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I will be back soon with more hockey chats from across the pond. Bye guys.